So you are about to receive the gift and the heart codes of Hathor. So this is the video that I'm going to share with you, Gospel of Marie, and everything that I know to be true about Hathor. Hathor is a beautiful goddess, and she is obviously anciently Egyptian. We are in the Hathor temple. This behind me here is Dendera temple in Dendera in Egypt. And Dendera means light, and that's exactly what Hathor is. And she's one of the most ancient goddesses out of all of them, even older than Isis. So when we go to Egypt, we this has got to be one of my most favorite temples because the temple is massive. It's really, really big. And as you first walk into her sacred space, these are the columns that you are greeted by, and you walk in, and you actually are blown away as to how big these columns are. It's massive, and as you walk in there, you can actually feel there is actually portals and very, very powerful star energy because the actual Tendera temple, when you go in there, this is how I feel it. It is actually a living, breathing spaceship, believe it or not. It vibrates. You can feel the energy is very alive, even though this temple is just so ancient and old, right? But you see, the Hathors, obviously the seven are the seven Pleiades, So that is why, I love Hathor so much because she's such a star goddess. They all are, but she's so of the stars because it's the Hathors is one whole consciousness. When you start to kind of follow the energetic lines, as it were, back to the origin source codes of each god and goddess, and you go right up to the stars with them, the best way to explain it is you start to drink from the absolute cleanest point and origin of the stream, and that's the cleanest part of the water before it travels down. So, like anything, like any gods and goddesses we work with, I really always say go right back to the origin source codes, go back to the beginning, because a lot of these gods and goddesses have gone through human opinion, human scripture, human expression, and it's like it can get a little bit lost along the way. So if you really want to get a potent connection with any god and goddess, especially with Hathor, go to the origin source codes, which is in the stars, which is where you began as well. It's the most cleanest, powerful part of all of us, actually, the beginning. So this video is all about Hathor. So she is the oldest goddess over and above all of them. She is a daughter of Ra, just like Sekhmet, just like Wadjet, just like Nekhbet, and she is an upholder of Ma'at as well. So she is very much to do with fertility. It's very, very similar to Isis. She's all about fertility and womb wisdom. But Hathor is all about the creation code. She's very, very sacred because she has the cow horns on top of her head, which really, really depicts the sacredness of the cow, the holy cow, the mother's milk. And that is why she just resembles motherhood, and she is so powerful when you want to tap into her with creative projects, because she will obviously activate that kind of frequency and energy within you, which is seriously divine. She's divine feminine, you know what I mean? So but going back to being an upholder of Ma'at, I'm going to share with you a story. I'm giving you all of the layers. So let's talk a little bit about the mythology of Hathor. So Hathor in the beginning, okay, was just Hathor. Like, there was no Sekhmet in the very, very early stages. Daughter of Ra. If you go back to the stories, mythology, this is what it speaks of. So Ra was very upset because his people started to stop worshipping him. They started to just not really care, and they all drifted off the other way. And he got really sad about that, and he was really depressed, and he was unhappy, and he was also quite angry. And he said to Hathor, I want you to go to the people, and I want you to remind them of me. I am Ra, the one supreme God, and tell them that they need to start coming back to worshipping the Ra and the solar energy, and so on and so forth. So anyway, off she went, and she went to speak to the people, and the people were like, yada yada yada, and kind of turned their back. Well, she got so angry, so very angry, that she was like raging and entered Sekhmet. That was where Sekhmet was born from her rage, from her wah, because nobody was listening to her. So then she then switched into Sekhmet. Sekhmet then proceeded to just kill everybody. She basically went mad. She was like, oh, really? And it kind of went a bit nuts and started to kill everybody. It was just a blood fest. So of course, Ra was like, this was not my intention. Oh my God, how do we pull her back, right? So he went to Thoth. Thoth was like, don't worry worry, I've got a plan. Let me put together some big barrels of beer, but we're going to make them look like blood. So she drinks them, she gets really, really drunk, and then she'll pass out, which is exactly what happened. She became so bloodthirsty that they couldn't control her. This is the real teachings of Sekhmet. Actually, was sidestepping here a little bit, because when you allow your anger and your rage and your shadow to just go out of control, it's very destructive. But when you harness the fires of Sekhmet, it's very powerful. So that's kind of like part of the teachings here. So she just like let it rage, she'd let it burn, and she destroyed everything, and you couldn't stop her. Which is why when you work with the Sekhmet energies, one must be very, very responsible when you call such a deity in, and when you work with the mother like that, because she is also Hathor as well. But like when you work with the Sekhmet side of things, because she can really, really like burn things down, and you have to be able to harness that to be able to pull it back. That's what harnessing the power is all about. So of course this was born of Hathor. This was the rage. So eventually she passed out, and then they brought Sekhmet home, and so on and so forth. And Ra was really upset about this. He got depressed about this, and he was really, really heartsore that he harmed his people in that way. So yeah, I mean, you can go back and read the mythologies, and all the stories are they're the same but different, you know what I mean? But anyway, that's the mythology story, which is why Hathor is known as the goddess of drunkenness. Now, a lot of people think it's because, they used to drink wine and beer, Blue Lotus, and they used to celebrate and dance, which is what they used to do. So in a way, her festivals were drunkenness. But in truth, in honesty and absolute, yeah, that's the story. That's where it comes from Sekhmet killing everybody and getting drunk and passing out. Okay, so that's why Hathor is known as the goddess of drunkenness, right? Now let's switch over to her festivals and her dance and her play, because I really want to bring that energy in for the month of June and beyond. Because how does one get into the happy space like that? Sometimes it can be quite hard, trawling through, trying to face your shadow, feeling a bit funky on that day. What's the best way to get in your heart space? Put music on. Play it loud, dance like nobody's watching, and come back and tell me how you feel, right? I've spoken about it a lot before. I definitely feel like I've been guided by Hathor to actually start DJing, start playing with music, and I love it. I love tribal beats. That's why I play Afro House, and I get so emotional when I play it, and it just brings my heart out so expanded, and I'm just in my happy space. And I think that's why I'm actually feeling a lot happier in my life, because I've tapped into that frequency. Is it the music per se? No, it's the frequency that's matched my inner being, the truth of my inner being. And I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean? Also, to say when you have those down days, it is also about bringing the love of Hathor into it, and loving those days when you're like, not feeling so great today, don't feel like dancing. So embrace that and love that into alignment, right? So now, celebrating life, basically celebrating life. How many of us as starseeds of just wanting to ping off the planet and just basically not be here? We've never wanted to be here because it's just been very chaotic, traumatic, and all of the things, much memory of past lifetimes, and it's been a lot. So now this timeline, 2025, June, the crossover, this is the time where we go, whoa, what a time to be alive, and then dead again and alive again and dead again. But we're really, really vibing with the whole death and rebirth thing now. We're kind of okay with it. And I don't know about you, but I have been surrounded by grief with so many things physically dying around me. So many of my animals have passed on, and just like kids leaving home and so on and so forth, that feeling, that intense feeling of death and grief, it's not so scary anymore. So I'm more willing to be with it. And I've now embraced that part of my shadow to go, wow, that's not so scary. I'm not so fearful about dying now. I'm actually okay with it, because after that death, I came alive again. And that is really the gift of Hathor, because she celebrated life so much, or she encouraged us to do so, because her festivals in Egypt would last for days upon days upon days. They used to drink Blue Lotus, like I say, and wine and beer and party and just enjoy. And they used to sail down the Nile. The women were frame drummers, so they'd be banging their drums, calling the villagers, come join us, come join us. And they were all about that. But the Egyptians also celebrated the excitement of what it was to die, because nothing was ever the end. The afterlife awaits you. And so it is. And so it is. And so it is. So that's the energy of Hathor. So now I'm going to step into another layer now, take you a little bit deeper, because there's many different ways where you might find an entry point in to work with this very, very powerful goddess, right? So now let's talk about the Hathors, which are The Pleiades. So the Hathors, okay. So I love it that it's a number seven because the one of the numbers for Sekhmet, and I'm obviously very deeply connected to Sekhmet. She's my girl. And so is Hathor. So, seven is number of completion. It's a very, very sacred number, and it means a lot to many of us for many different reasons. So now there's the seven Hathors, and the seven Hathors are the seven Pleiades. So they're the stars in the sky. Those are the mothers. So in on honesty and truth, really, if we talk about Hathor, yeah, there was this kind of like human creation of her in physical form. But in truth, who is she really? We should be saying, who are they really? So they are massive consciousness, heart codes, the Palladian mothers. It's all about motherhood. They are the epitome of the most ancient divine feminine, and they are, they are the sisterhood, the motherhood. They are the stars, right? So in the beginning, again, this is mythology. They say that everybody's first lifetime was that as a female, right? And we were encoded with those divine feminine codes. Even the men who are living their lives now, physical form, you hold those encodements with you. So there's a deep memory. And that was placed in there from the Palladian mothers. And it's an encoding that will never go, that will never disappear. It's part of us, it's our DNA. And this is what it was to live back then in Lemuria, because that was very, very Palladian energy, right? So it takes us right back to those origin source codes that I spoke about, that nothing is lost, everything is within you. So the codes of the Hathors is very much Venus orientated, very heart orientated. And yesterday I worked with them because I had a very crazy day with all of these solar storms going on, and I was just like vibrating in my doing energy. And I stopped and I meditated with Hathor in front of my statue, and they took me straight up to the Hathors. And what I experienced was the energy coming in. First of all, is like star codes. You may want to visualize this in one of your meditations. It could be useful, right? They visualized these, had me visualizing the star codes coming in, and it poured in like, oh, star magic, starlight. And it was pouring in through my central power channel. And then it turned into liquid honey, molasses. And imagine when you pour honey, it's gloopy, it's soothing, it's yummy. It's like, oh, sweetness of life. That's what it was. And it was like gloopy, and it was like the honey nectar, just pure love and sweetness, as I say. And it was moving all the way down like a soothing elixir into my being. And as it came in, honey to the heart, as it were, as it came in, they said, we're replenishing the energy that you have drained through doing, through, vibrating and just, being like, not in the flow of the divine feminine. And they said, this is what's happening. And as they brought this replenishment into my being and I received it, all of a sudden, this greaty energy that I had doing, that I couldn't disengage from, just engulfed me with all of this love, and then love for self. And I didn't realize I wasn't doing that until I received it. And I was just like, oh, and it just brought me to a really peaceful place where I was then able to disengage. So that was a powerful lesson from them, actually, that there I was thinking I was in my creation codes doing videos and whatnot. And then they brought me through that visualization and meditation, and they were like, can you feel the difference? Wow. So I encourage you to maybe sit with that, feel how that feels, maybe call in the Hathors to you and see how that goes. So they will show you also where you are lacking in love for self, which is exactly what they did there. So now, okay, because there's lots of videos on this channel to do with Hathor. So I don't want to kind of like repeat or recreate the wheel, because I have actually spoken a lot about this, but I wanted to do this video to kind of bring it more into the forefront for now, for Joyous June. Always good to do a refresher video. So how to work with them over June, right? So I've got a list here where I thought, well, you could get a little bit practical with this. So as I've just said, honey in the heart. I love that, honey in the heart. And the star codes soothe and replenish, right? And you could ask can you hear that bird? Sidebar, did you hear that bird? If you didn't, it's like a car. Okay, so that bird is actually an ibis. Now the sacred ibis is Thoth. So they've just gone flying past my window. So Thoth has just done a drive-by, like, yo, wanted to get in on the video. I love it how there's just co-creation everywhere. So I don't get distracted by butterflies. I get distracted by Thoth birds, right? Okay, so now getting practical with these star beings, because I would really love to hear how it works for you. And as I say, all of my videos are just a jump off for you, because you have unique codes within you, so you'll have a very unique experience with these beings. And I don't want to write your story too much, because it's about the gospel of you, not the gospel of me through you. It's gospel of you. So now, sitting with this throughout the month of June, I say we because I'm going to do the same. We're going to ask the Hathors, or Hathor herself, please show me where love lacks. Please show me where love lacks. And that might be, rather than looking at the shadow and saying it like that, please show me what's like stodgy and needs to be released. Where does love lack? So we're talking love vibrations. So everything in our tone, in our approach, in our thinking and our perception wants to be love based for this month of June and beyond, right? Because if we keep focusing on the slutty shadow, we're going to get more of that. So let's like kind of step away, ask Hathor, where does love lack, and where can we bring more of that, like, a honey in the heart, as I've written here, honey in the heart. How can we bring that in a bit more? And you'll be surprised as to what shows up in your life, because if you're conscious and you're aware and you're saying to the Hathors, right, show me, you're going to be shown, and it's going to be very exciting and very powerful. And also as well, I've written down here, music. Play. Okay, I want you to engage in more music. I went through a time where I didn't listen to music actually much at all. And through obviously doing my DJ courses and everything like that, and I love Afro House, that's my genre. It's encompassed everything, because I'm a shamanic drummer. I do shamanic drumming, I play the djembe, I do all of those things. Probably not enough. I sing, and I found my voice through medicine circles. Didn't think I had one. And I know you have a voice too. I know that there is an aspect and a side of you that is very musical. And like I've said before, it's not the music per se, it's the frequency, and that instills that joy, that ignites that joy. So I would really like to ask you, real simple, just play the music that you love. And maybe once I'm organizing myself this side to actually share my mixes, my DJ mixes with you. So that's pending. So maybe for the month of June, I'm going to be birthing my DJ mixes, so you can dance like nobody's watching to my DJ mixes. But play the music that you love, and just move and dance and move the hips, and just, maybe put a blindfold on and just like do your thing. You'd be so surprised when you go like, let your wild woman out or your wild man out. Just go for it and just feel and observe how you feel after it, even if it's like 10 minutes. So let's bring music into your world in a big way, not just when you're in the car, so you can be really conscious with it. And if you're cooking dinner, put some loud music on, right? If you're cleaning the house, put some loud music on, right? And be really conscious of that, and call in Hathor and the Hathors through that portal. And let's see how your joyous June unfolds. So this, my dears and my darlings, is the kind of like portal opening to Hathor, and there'll be many videos that I'll be sharing beyond this, but this is the threshold. Step in with me and receive joyous June. Peace.